You know, I had all kinds of people as my clients. I can remember once doing a beautiful apartment. It was on East 81st Street in New York for an authoress. And she called me, and she had her book, her novel had gotten to the top of the charts in every single country. And she arrived in the office in a sable coat with big dark glasses on. And I said, you know, I can't do this new house without seeing where you live now. So I went down on 57th Street where she lived. She lived at 417 East 57th Street at the time. And I can remember it distinctly. I can remember the day. It was a little maisonette, because Marilyn Monroe lived across the street at 419. And Marilyn used to come out of that apartment. I would see her on occasion at Billy's Restaurant on the corner of 56th and First Avenue in those days. And I can remember that moment when I saw this apartment. And I went into this little maisonette, and I would call it the apartment of the unmade bed. She wrote this book on a roll-top desk, one of those oak roll-top desks. And she had been a teacher. You're probably guessing who it is already. But anyway, when I went to work on the apartment, it was a penthouse in the sky. It looked north, south, east, and west. It had terraces, and it had everything that you'd want from a very successful authoress. And we did marble floors and mahogany suspended shelves, beautiful glass-top dining tables, charming classic dining room chairs, Recamier sofas. And I did a library for her with everything from every computer possibility, places to put her staples and her pencils and pens. And she used to write me daily things that she wanted done, to be done, on long, long pages, all single-spaced. When we were installing the apartment, I said, you know, you can't stay here when this is going on, because she would want to be with the contractor, wanting to redirect, wanting to change. So she went down to Bluebeard's Castle in St. Thomas, where she stayed for about 6 weeks while we were doing everything from the sheets to the blankets to everything that was in that apartment. When she walked in, it was totally done. After she walked in, I waited the first day, I waited the second day, I waited the first week, I waited the first month for her to call with this wonderful, delighted voice I expected to hear, have her tell me how much she loved it. She never called. So finally I called her editor and I said, you know, I have to talk to her. First of all, she owes us a lot of money. And she did call me. It was about 2 months later, and I went to the penthouse in the sky. And we opened the door. And I was absolutely aghast, because the apartment looked almost like the one I'd seen. The first one. She sat on the Recamier sofa and she cried. And I looked at her and she said, with tears in her eyes, she said, "Get me my roll-top desk." And I learned at that very moment that change is a very hard thing for people to do. And if they don't have the elements of things that make them content and happy around them, they lose themselves.